it's Linda from Homestead by the Lake. So today I'm going to can up some fresh Roma tomatoes. I'm going to do it cold batch style. So the first thing you want to do is get your skins off your tomatoes. There's several ways to do that, but what I do is I get a pot of water going and I put them in there, and all they need is 1 minute. You don't want the tomatoes to cook. You just want the skins to come off. So what I'm going to do is, after 1 minute, I transfer them to cold water, and then the skin literally shrivels right up, and it's so easy to come off. Then we core them, and then we slice them into chunks. And I'm going to do, you know, little square chunks, kind of. We'll see. We'll show you what that looks like when I get there. So this is a good sized pot. I'm going to fill this right up. I am going to be using pint jars today. And what you want to do with your pint jar is first put in 1 tablespoon of your lemon juice in the jar into each pint. If you're using quart jars, then it's 2 tablespoons of juice. So I'm going to first put juice in all my jars while I'm waiting for that minute. And then you need some boiling water. So you're going to heat up some water so it's warm. It doesn't have to be boiling. I shouldn't have said that. You just need some warm water. So we're going to dice up the tomatoes, however size you want, for whatever recipes you think you're going to use them for. And we're going to fill up our jars. Then you're going to fill them up with the hot water. Okay, so my minute is up, and I'm going to start taking my tomatoes out of the hot and add them in the cold. And you can see, if you can see this, see how that's already coming off the tomato? See how simple that is? Put it right in the cold water so it cools off and you're able to handle it. And you don't want your tomato to continue to cook. This is just a repetitive process till you get as many tomatoes done as you want to can up. Now, I am not sure how many tomatoes I need to fill my jars. Somebody here? So we'll see. I'm just going to keep doing tomatoes until I have my jars full. And then what I have left over, I would also like to make some salsa today. So I want to be sure that I have enough tomatoes for salsa as well. So I'm going to turn my hot water on low while I start peeling all my tomatoes. There we go. All right, give them a second to cool off, and then look. See how that comes right off? Look at that. Right off. And what I'm going to do is slice it down the center. And I'm going to cut out that core. Oop, they're slippery. And then you cut them up whatever size you want. So I'm going to cut them again in the middle, and I'm going to do chunk pieces like this. This is what I want. I figure I can use these tomatoes in so many recipes, like chili, making tomato sauce, anything. And I'm going to start to fill my jar. And again, it's just repetitive. And just keep going. right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 pint jars, which is what my canner can fit, is 7 pints. So that's what I have ready so far. Take your core out, cut it in half, cut it in half again. Look, make sure you look for any blemishes, and you don't want to can any blemishes, so make sure you cut those away. But this is it. This is just so much fun. I can't tell you how wonderful it is when you need some summer tomatoes and you've got them on your shelf. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. Because we all know that the tomatoes taste so good in the summertime. There is nothing like a summer tomato. And unfortunately, this season is about over for tomatoes. So I wanted to get these done. And I actually might try and find some more somewhere that are still fresh summer tomatoes, just to get a good batch on the shelf. Want to be able to get them to last throughout the whole year. So cut it in half again, and then dice it. And that's it. And fill your jar. And I am going to get some, oh, there's a little piece of skin. I'm going to get some water, heat it up. Okay, this is how we're looking so far. I'll be back when I have all my jars full. So that amount of tomatoes in that pot made my 7 pints. So now what I've done is I have heated up some water. My water bath canner over here is warm. It is not hot, because you don't want to put cold jars in hot water. Everything is going to break on you. You're going to need your debubbler and your tongs to put them in the water bath canner. So all we have in here now is peeled, cored, and diced Roma tomatoes. And we have 1 tablespoon of store-bought lemon juice. You cannot use real lemons, okay? You have to use the store-bought brand. And we just heated some water. And what I'm gonna do is fill them up. And then you need your debubbler to go through. And try and make sure you have no, you don't want any bubbles in there. I think I made this a little too hot. So we're gonna fill up all our jars. My bands and my lids are ready. Oh, you know what I need? I forgot something to wipe my jars with. Okay, so you want something to clean your rims with to make sure that you have nothing on your jars. So using your debubbler, you want to go around, look at your tomatoes. Whoop, don't let them fall out. Go around, just try and make sure you get out any air that you possibly see. And then you need your jars with a 1-inch headspace. I think it's a 1-inch headspace. I'm gonna have to double check that. Wipe your jars. Make sure there's nothing in there, nothing on your rim, or your lid will not seal. Let me go check that headspace real quick. I'll be right back. Double checked, it is a 1/2-inch headspace for your tomatoes. Wipe your rim, put a fresh new lid on, and your ring. Finger tight. And look at that. We have our first diced tomatoes going in. Now for pint-sized jars, it is 40 minutes. And if you're doing quart size, I think it's 45 minutes. Oops. Put a little bit more water in there. 1/2 inch. Always, always. Do your rims. If for any reason your lid does not seal when it comes out of the canner, it's still good. Just put it in the fridge and use it. You can't put it on your shelf. And it goes. And just repeat the process. Debubble. Add a little bit more in there. 1/2 inch space. Wipe. Do you not love this? Do you see how simple this is? You don't need a water bath canner. You can use any pot as long as you put something on the bottom, because your jars cannot be on the direct bottom of the pot. Finger tight, in they go. We are going to have nice, fresh summer tomatoes on the shelf. It's so worth this. And the process really does not take that long. Once you get into a good routine with taking the skins off, it really goes by fast. And the more you do it, the faster you're going to get to, you know. Nice. And if you see stuff come off onto your napkin or whatever you're using, wipe it again to be sure that you have nothing on there. Finger tight, in she goes. See, we are almost done, and we are going to have 7 pints of fresh tomatoes. 7 pints, I'm thrilled. I am definitely going to do more before the season's over. And actually, I was lucky. I found these Romas for 98 cents a pound, which is a good price. So I will definitely go get some more. I don't think you could never have too many tomatoes on the shelf, right? I don't think so. You always need tomatoes for something. If you're doing Mexican dishes, if you're making pasta, if you're making chili and soup, oh my goodness, these tomatoes will be so delicious in a soup, in a vegetable soup, or, you know, yeah, I have a really good vegetable soup recipe. Oh, that these tomatoes would be really good in. On we go. And we have one more. Then what we're going to do is we will turn up our water in our pot and let it come to a rolling boil. Once that comes to a rolling boil, we will set our timer for 40 minutes. And you don't set your timer till you get that really hard boil. That's when you set your timer. about an inch, well, definitely an inch of water over your jars. And I have a little too much in there. I don't need all that. I don't need it coming out the top on me. So we're going to take some of that out. Perfect. All right, I'm going to put the lid on and we're going to wait for that to come up to a hard boil. Okay, my timer just went off for my diced tomatoes. Turn your burner off. Remove the lid away from you. Be very careful. And take out your jars. Let your jars sit for 24 hours. Look at that. That's beautiful. After 24 hours, you want to take off your rings, and then you're going to check your seal and make sure that your jar is sealed. If your jar has sealed, then you mark it with the date and what it is, put it on your shelf, and enjoy fresh summer tomatoes all year. Beautiful. Now, don't forget, if for any reason your jar does not seal, just put it in your fridge and use it. Make a soup. Make a chili. These came out gorgeous. This is Linda from Homestead by the Lake. I hope you make your own diced tomatoes.